Sean, I hate days like yesterday. I just do. I said, I didn't make it official, but what did I do? I broke my own rule on the White Sox and negative run lines. And of course, what happened? The White Sox lost. Why do I hurt myself?
Yeah, it's funny how as a bettor you say certain things and you stick certain rules, but then you break them yourself sometimes.
You just say, yeah, whatever. I don't agree with my own rules. I made a rule up for nothing. Right.
Like you said, there's that exception, and then it never works anyway.
Yeah, no, the exception is that I'm an idiot exceptionally most of the time. And then on top of that, so I'm thinking, all right, well, that's one under the bag. Maybe I can get the other two. And right as the White Sox game was ending, the Toronto-Boston game was starting, and I'm on my phone. It's 2-0. Maybe they come back. It's 4-0. It's 6-0. It's 8-0. They're not even out of the top of the first inning yet. So you're kind of agitated, right? I'm in the store trying to do something, and the guy from AT&T is trying to talk to me. I'm looking at the score. You kind of just like you got to be still kind of polite, but you kind of got that like inside of you. So I was just like, can you just shut up for a second? But you can't tell them, so you can get that like frustration out of you. Then in your mind, you start thinking, well, if they don't score anymore, then they can, all I need is 10 runs. And you're like, yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah. I had the opposite. The Tigers absolutely destroyed the Rangers. And then the Diamondbacks took care of Pittsburgh pretty easily, too. I think it was 4-2, but I was never really that worried. They jumped out 2-0, third, fourth inning, and they held on from there. So,
yeah, for me, I really rarely have like those days where it's just like you turn on the scoreboard and it's just like blowout, blowout, blowout. I'm on the good side of the blowout, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't easy. I'm always bottom of the ninth. My team is winning. The reliever comes in. He walks the first guy. The second guy bloops. The next guy, hits the ball to the third baseman. He boots it. Bases are loaded. Nobody's out. And then you got to sweat every pitch out to the end to get the win. And you're just like, man, is it really worth it?
Yeah, exactly. The only frustrating part with the Tigers was on my personal account, I put $10 on the Tigers and the under as well to try to capitalize there. And they kept scoring. And I was like, all right, you could stop scoring now. You got this game won. And it got out of hand.
Yeah, they smoked them for sure. Yeah. Well, tonight we'll get right to the fun stuff. You have the Milwaukee Bucks trying to bring home an NBA championship just a little bit north of me in Milwaukee. Strangely, they have no offense to Milwaukeeans, but Chicago is a better city. But Milwaukee has a much better Summerfest. I don't know if anybody's been to Milwaukee on the Summerfest, but they have like 5 days or 7 days, and it's like every major artist on the planet comes through there. Chicago has the Taste of Chicago. You got to buy a $42 drumstick for a turkey, and they get some band like from the 1970s that you never heard of, like a Hall & Oates kind of impersonators.
Yeah, I've never been to either.
Yeah, well, I have been to the Taste of Chicago, but I haven't been up to the Milwaukee Fest. I got to get up that way. But maybe tonight might make sense to jump in a car, maybe join a celebration in Milwaukee. You think the Bucks bring this one home?
I'm still on the Suns here.
Confident.
Not official, but in my personal account, I'm probably going to take the Suns.
How or why?
I just think the Suns are the better team, and Chris Paul's going to show up tonight, and it's
Chris Paul playoffs.
Yeah.
I think he's got a career worth of showing up so far in this.
And I know you say choke with Phoenix, but we've seen Milwaukee choke constantly too in the playoffs. So they're finally one win away from that championship. I can't trust Milwaukee to take Milwaukee, so it would either be a stay away from me or the Suns. And like I said, on my personal account, I'll probably put a couple dollars on the Suns to win here.
Well, I ran my simulations, as I always do, and accounting for home and away defense, 1,000 games, and Milwaukee wins 835 of them and covers the spread in 835 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 25 on Milwaukee to win. My projected score is Milwaukee 115, Phoenix 100. I know that goes under, but it's the last game of the year for Phoenix. If they get behind, they can be behind by 15, and I expect them to foul until there's like a tick left on the clock. But Milwaukee wins this one, gets the championship because they do not want to go back to Phoenix.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Hey, you're going off your computer projections. I understand that. That's pretty overwhelming. 835 out of 1,000, but I just think Phoenix still gets it, and I still think Phoenix is going to win the title.
Man, they were just up 16 points after the first period, and they couldn't close the game out. They were up with 2 minutes to go in Milwaukee with a chance to take a commanding lead and couldn't close it out. This team is tighter than a duck in the water, man. They're not.
So
playing.
Did you get a -4.5, or now it's got to 5?
I had it -5. It's -5. So I think it's -5 and -105 or something like that. I don't know exactly the total.
That sounds about right. Yep.
I'm taking Milwaukee. They're 10-1 at home. The playoffs, they've controlled their home court. Even in the game they lost, it was a close one to Atlanta. And then the Suns are 6-4, not bad on the road in the playoffs, but still not the same as 10-1. Milwaukee knows tonight's the night, and they're going to make it this night. All right, now we'll move on to Major League Baseball. We have a lot of games on tap tonight, so let's get cracking. There's 2 going on right now. L.A. Angels and Oakland, Kansas City and Milwaukee. I took Milwaukee and I took Oakland in my personal account, so I hope 1 or 2 of them comes through. But let's get going on games that we can make some action on. We have Miami versus Washington.
So Rogers is pitching this game, and he didn't pitch yesterday.
I know, all these pitching lines confuse me. Same like you, Darvish.
Yeah. But Washington's bats are really heating up.
Yeah, they're smoking the ball for sure.
Yeah, so if I had to go one way, I'd go Washington. But I'm going to leave this go because I don't have a strong feeling either way.
Yeah, the line opened up -105 for the Marlins, probably because of Trevor Rogers, right? -115 for the Nationals. It's moved to +100 for the Nationals. Right now, about 52% of the public bets are on Miami, but 56% of the money, 56 cents out of every dollar, on the Nationals. So the smart money, so to speak, is on Washington. I'm not on either side of this game. This line is kind of interesting to me. The Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Yankees. Philadelphia is -126, or it depends on the book, -130, somewhere in that range. And the Yankees are getting +118 at home. What's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know. But with the positive line there on a 50-50 game, if you're going to go one way, I'd go the Yankees here. But no official play out of me on these 2.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a 50-50 game because when I look at my numbers, it says to me that the Yankees are the better team. They have a much better power ranking at home. They dominate Philadelphia in terms of runs produced at home for the Yankees versus runs scored on the road for Philadelphia. This line makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
All I can say is it's an Aaron Nola line, but really, his ERA is
that well.
No, so his ERA is the same as Domingo German, so it is confusing.
And looking at the public, 53% of the bets are on the Philadelphia Phillies, and a little bit more money than that is on the Phillies as well. So the public is on the Phillies, the money's on the Phillies. The line makes no sense to me. I'm just going to stay the hell away.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so Boston and Blue Jays. Boy, I took a beating on this one yesterday. I don't even want to talk about Boston and the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and you got the unknown here. Thomas Hatch is going for the Blue Jays. Don't know much about him.
I don't know anything about him.
Boston, yeah. So this is totally a stay away from me.
But again, looking at the so-called smart money, about 60% of the bets are on Boston, but almost 2/3 of the money is on the Blue Jays. So, the inside guys, or the smart money, if you will, the Sharpies, whatever you want to call them, they're on Toronto here. So I was on Toronto yesterday. He kicked me twice in the shins, and it's my fault. I don't want anything to do with that game. Yesterday we talked about the Mets and Cincinnati being a game where it was pitching versus hitting, and that if it was hitting, that probably Cincinnati takes it, and if it was pitching, probably the Mets take it. Well, it was hitting, and the Mets took it.
Yeah, and during the live, I had the Mets and I took Baltimore live too because Baltimore jumped out on Tampa Bay, and I said about Spencer Watkins. So once they got a run or two, I was like, hey, I feel pretty good about this. So I took the Mets while they were up 3-0, got no value for it, and then it just became back and forth. And I was really actually frustrated because they were extra innings, and the Mets were actually struggling against the Reds bullpen up till the 11th inning when they opened things up. It was a very different game than we would have thought it would have been.
Yeah, well, that was definitely different.
But on this one here, we got Robert Stack versus Wade Miley. The Mets are 7-16 versus left-handed pitching. The Reds should be able to light up Robert Stack. I like the Reds here, minus a run and a half. You're getting plus 125.
So is that a play or just a like?
That's an official play.
All right, so he likes the Reds minus 1.5 on an official play. Looking at the money on that particular game, it's odd. 86% of the bets are on the Reds minus 1.5, but 65% of the money is on the Mets plus 1.5. So that's kind of a really big swing between A and B. Yeah, so it looks like they think the Reds are going to win by 1. It's what it looks like to me. That's what I hate about those run lines. Those one-run games are killer.
Yeah.
Tigers and Rangers, you made good money yesterday on that game. Are you going to come back and bite that apple again?
So I'm 2 days in a row taking Detroit's money line, and I'm going to do it again. I mean, you're only getting – I got them at minus 120. Pitching matchup pretty much even, but the Tigers are doing really well, and Rangers are doing the opposite. I mean, the Tigers, you could see yesterday, they're enjoying themselves. They're having fun. They're having a decent year. Rangers are just miserable. I mean, their best pitcher yesterday, Kyle Gibson, he got lit up.
Right. Gave up 2 touchdowns.
Yesterday I said they were outscored like 42-7 in their last 5 games or whatever, and then they just lost 13-0. So now we're at like 55-7 the last 6 games.
Getting smoked.
I see no way that I'm surprised the line's that low, and I'm gonna while Detroit's hot and Rangers aren't, I'm gonna capitalize on it while they play each other and take Detroit here. Yeah.
The public is on the Tigers as well in terms of the number of bets and the money. So it looks like the public and the smart people agree with you. I don't agree one way or the other. It's not a game that I like. I do agree with you, though. Detroit's probably the better team, but I have a hard time taking a team like Detroit with a negative line. I'd rather try to catch them on the road with Casey Mize pitching and maybe catching a plus line against a better team.
Yeah, and I even was intrigued with the run line. You could probably give up a run and a half here, but I didn't want to get too confident with the Tigers, so I'll just go on the fact that they're going to win this game.
Next game up on the board is the Orioles versus the Rays. This is a game I was looking at as a possible run line, but it was a negative run line, so I am not going to break my own rule today.
Yeah, I mean, I can't be confident in Tampa Bay. They are 21-17 versus left-handed pitching, though. But Means is going for Baltimore, and he's a pretty good pitcher. So
he's got a no-hitter, right, this year?
Yeah. And he's, 4-2 with a 2.28 ERA, so he's done really well. The only thing that's going to offset that is Tampa Bay does really good against left-handed pitching, too. So, and then Tampa has a left-hander as well, Shane McClellan.
Who's pitched well for them.
Yeah, and Baltimore's 11-22 versus left-handers. I mean,
game of futility. Whoever at least for you to win.
Baltimore at first would have been intriguing to me, but you're getting what, plus 170. It wasn't enough. It wasn't like yesterday where you were getting, plus 230.
Yeah, well, nobody's on that spot anyway. Everybody is on the Rays. Like 85 cents out of every dollar is on the Rays, and 70% of the tickets are on the Rays too. So
I wouldn't feel comfortable giving up a run and a half though if somebody's trying to do that.
Yeah, no value in the Rays, no value in Orioles. The Rays should win the game. But I can't take either side. The Padres, Yu Darvish does pitch today. Did not pitch yesterday. I don't know why. Against the Braves, the Braves are at home plus 152, and you're going to go minus 162 if you like the Padres. 80% of the tickets are on the Padres, and nearly 90 cents out of every dollar on Yu Darvish to go down into Atlanta and come home with a W.
So this is one I would stay away from. I mean, maybe throw San Diego on a parlay. The reason he's pitching today is they actually were rained out yesterday.
All right. So
should
pay attention to these things, huh?
So some reason the Braves changed their starting pitcher, which probably threw you off. I don't understand, right? Like coming out of the All-Star break, how teams didn't know who was starting and everything else. You should be able to set this up coming out of the All-Star break. But I'm not confident either way. Maybe throw San Diego money line on a parlay is about as far as I would go with this.
Yeah, I think San Diego has the advantage. Looking at the run line differential and all that kind of stuff, Atlanta has a slight home away power ranking advantage, which is what keeps me off of San Diego in this spot. And it's about a 50-50 game in terms of how many runs San Diego scores on the road versus how many Atlanta scores at home. Slight. I mean, about as slight as you can get edge to San Diego there. So if I were going to go any side of this play, I would have to take Atlanta. But I don't feel good about Atlanta minus Acuna because their leader's not there. And Jock Peterson is just, I know he was here in Chicago. Seemed like the guys liked him in the locker room a lot, but just did not thrill me all that much. Next game up on the board is the Twins and the White Sox here in Chicago. It's warm out, and I can tell you when it's warm in Chicago, they tend to score a lot of runs.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe that's I'm not doing an official play here. You could maybe take the White Sox minus a run and a half, but we all know how that sometimes goes. But they definitely have the pitching match up here with Dallas Keuchel versus Bailey Ober. But I'm not taking anything.
I'm taking it. I'm going to go the White Sox plus 125. That's the minus 1.5 runs. The Minnesota Twins this year are a hefty 11-21 against lefties on the road. And when you look at the pitcher Ober, he's pitched against the White Sox once this year. It's the team he's pitched against the most in his limited career. And against the White Sox, he's got a guaranteed rate field in Chicago. I guess that's the name of it now. They changed the name. It's been the same name for a while. Started there once, 3 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs, a 13.5 ERA. And overall, he's pitched against the White Sox 3 times, and he's gotten hit hard every single time. As far as Keuchel is concerned, he's pitched okay against Minnesota. Not great, not bad, nothing spectacular. So I do expect some runs in this game, but I just expect the White Sox to score 2 more of them. So I'm going to take the White Sox minus 1.5 for plus 125, and I hope that Minnesota doesn't come out and put 8 on the board in the first inning.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, that would suck. Cleveland against Houston.
This is probably a Houston money line for me in a parlay. I wouldn't take it with the lack of value. But I don't see Cleveland winning this game. Houston's a better team. You got Luis Garcia going versus Tristan McKenzie. Nothing.
Yeah, minus 200 for me is too much, and I'm not going to run line Houston.
Right, and that's where I'm at. Even
though they have the top offense in baseball in terms of run differential, but I think it's a negative run line number, so I'm not on. Again, I'm not breaking my rules today. Maybe, it's like after a bad day of drinking, you say, I'm not going to drink ever again. And then you do sometimes. Fortunately, I stopped a long time ago. But it's one of those things that I'll be back to break my own rule at some point. But well, maybe. Houston's plus 105 on the run line. So maybe. And 99% of the dollars are on that minus 1.5. So maybe a consideration. I'm surprised it's a plus line. Or maybe my eyes are bad again. But, yeah, it looks like it's plus 105.
That's interesting if they're minus 200. You
with me, Sean?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, I found it. It's plus 105, but I'm not going to take any action there.
Okay.
Let's move on to the Cubs in St. Louis.
This is going to be an official play for me. I said yesterday how I was surprised the line was kind of like 50-50. Again, St. Louis, money line minus 115. I'm taking St. Louis. I think the Cubs are a good team to bet against in the second half. St. Louis put some runs up yesterday. Kind of wish there was a better pitcher going for St. Louis, but pitching matchup's kind of a wash between Trevor Williams and Johan Oveda. So I'm going to go with the better team and get minus 115 here.
Yeah, about 70% of the tickets and 70% of the money is on the Cardinals. I don't get any value. I think it's a 50-50 game. I think the Cardinals probably win. A 50-50 game, Cardinals probably win, but I'm only getting minus 105. I want a plus line at a 50-50 game. This is an interesting game to me. The Mariners and the Rockies. The Rockies are like minus 185. And I don't know. see the Rockies being minus 185 against anybody. I know they're at home, but that's a big number to pay for the Rockies. And I think you've told me before when they're home favorites, though.
Yeah,
they
so I'll give
well.
you. They're 32-19 at home, and as a favorite, they're 13-4. I didn't get to put them together and see what they were, but I have as far as German Marquez too, the starting pitcher. He's been on a roll. Colorado has won 5 in a row as he started, 9 of 11 of his last starts, and 7 of those have been by 2+ runs. So he's been pretty good. And then they have a lot of unders too. Colorado at home, like 9 of their last 10 at home have been under. So what I'm going to do here is I feel confident Colorado's going to win. I have no doubt. I also like the under. So I'm going to parlay Colorado in the under 10.5 runs for a plus 220 value here.
Oof. I'm not going to do anything in that game. And Pittsburgh and Arizona, you're going to go back to Arizona again?
No. Yeah, you could do it, but tonight with 4 other plays that I really like, this is that 1-800 help. I needed help yesterday, but I got the win. Tonight I don't need the help.
Yeah, well, that's good. You got the W. I look at the game between the Pirates and the Diamondbacks. Even these are 2 teams that don't win at a high rate, home or away. The Diamondbacks do have the advantage in terms of run differential. They are giving you a little bit of a discount on a premium. You're paying a little bit of a premium on Arizona, which tells me they want you to bet Arizona in Vegas, but not a whole lot. So they're maybe just trying to attract a few bucks into Arizona. They want you to maybe take a little bit of that line. I'm not going to play that game because, I mean, they both win at what Pittsburgh wins at about 32% on the road and Arizona wins at 36% at home. It's really that game can go either way. And finally, San Francisco got them better of the Dodgers. There's another game where looking at my phone, first inning, it's 3-0. And I'm like, what is going on today?
Yeah. And then they came back and scored 2. And actually when they scored 2, I jumped on them. I put $25 on them or whatever, thought they would come back and win. And then they just got killed from there.
They played great after that.
So San Fran's got a good starter going today, Alex Wood, but the Dodgers don't have their starter listed. So nothing I can really do.
And they're taking 82% of the bets without a starter.
Yeah, see, I can't bet on a team without announcing the starter.
Yeah, I can't either. So I'm not going to be on that game either. So the only MLB game for me is the White Sox minus 1.5 runs for a plus 125. That wraps up baseball, Mr. Sean. So we're going to move on to your favorite sport of sports, Gold Cup soccer. There's a lot of games today in that tournament. You have Jamaica versus Costa Rica. Personally, from watching these games, you're getting plus 155 if you take Costa Rica. You're getting almost plus 200, depending upon your book with Jamaica. Jamaica's the faster team. Costa Rica plays slow. Joel Campbell's their best player. This smells like a stupid soccer tie to me, though, so I'm not going to take any action on this game. Where I am going to do is, Grenada and Panama, it's minus 2,000 for Panama and Grenada. Even if you try to play goals, I mean, you have to go to like 5 goals to get a plus line, so I'm not going to go there either. But what I am going to do is a parlay like you. I'm going to do a soccer parlay. Suriname should have probably beat or at worst tied Costa Rica. They're a better team than Guadeloupe. Guadeloupe is a small country, not a lot of players. Their quality is not as good as everybody else. Suriname has played much better than their 0-2 record. They're faster. They're more polished team. I think they're going to win that game. So they're minus 185. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to parlay that with over 2.5 goals in the Qatar-Honduras game. Both teams are loose on the back line, so there's going to be plenty of scoring opportunities on both sides. And both teams are adept offensively enough to go ahead and capitalize on the mistakes that the defenses make. So the Suriname is minus 185. Over 2.5 goals is plus 135 in the Qatar-Honduras game. You put them together, and it's plus 262. So I'm going to make that an official for $25. The Suriname plus over 2.5 goals in the Qatar-Honduras game for plus 262. Is Hillary going to follow along, or are you going to get wise, or what?
Yeah, maybe. I got to get her to gamble first, but maybe soccer's our way to do that.
Yeah, well, maybe you probably don't want her to get her to do that. One in the family is enough.
Yeah, probably.
Probably, yeah.
But she would do better. She would probably do better than all of us, especially beginner's luck. So.
Yeah, plus they're probably a little bit more disciplined than we are, right?
Oh,
if they have a rule that you don't bet a negative run line, they won't bet a negative run line.
Right. Like she says, you don't have to bet every day.
Mm-hmm. Right. She hasn't read the rule book.
Yeah, I know.
For sure. All right, Sean. So if folks want to follow us online, where do they follow us?
Facebook and Twitter, Moneyline Madmen.
Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, tell your friends about us, especially if we're making some money today, do us a favor. Tell at least one friend, hey, I hit this soccer parlay over there with Moneyline Madmen. You might want to check them out because nobody else is talking about soccer parlays. Tomorrow, of course, we'll have some PGA picks again for you. Hopefully we can repeat our British Open performance. We can go plus 650 any week. I'll take that. There'll be more Major League Baseball tomorrow. Maybe some Gold Cup soccer. I think the U.S. plays tomorrow, so we might have a little action on the United States soccer team. And that's about it. Of course, on Thursday, Sean and I will be, I don't know who the guest is, but we'll be talking about Del Mar Racing. So make sure you check over to Horse Racing Radar, our sponsor. Take a look at that. If you head on over there now, we put a pick 4 in for tonight over at Penn National. So there's still plenty of time to do that. You can watch that video over at horseracingradar.com or on the horseracingradar.com TV, YouTube, and channel and so forth. All right, Sean, until 23 hours and 30 minutes from now, good luck with all your bets, and may all your bets be winners.